Okay, so welcome back. Sorry about the little delay there. Um, so this is a game that I always loved and played when I was a kid, and it's a really good RPG. Um, sorry, I'm saying so much. Now, about this game is that it's one of the spin-offs from the Dragon Warrior series, and it's one of the better ones in my opinion. Uh, well, actually, it probably is probably one of the. Actually might be one of. It might be the best one in my opinion. This is Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, Cobi's Journey, and it's a spin-off of which you kind of control like Pokemon. Now, obviously, it's a great game, and I recommend you get it on emulator. I had it when I was a kid. I still have a physical copy, but there's just so much grinding that needs to be done. It's just way too time-consuming. For example, I put 208 hours into one file. Um, that's a lot. That's a lot of time to put into a file. And this is just like one file. I've played this game through 10 times to make sure I know where everything is and can do everything really quickly. But just, remember that this is a really long game, so it's kind of hard to pick up and find nowadays anyways. So I do recommend that you do go out and, you know, I would say try and emulate this game. But if you can, find a way to support the official release. Um, it's a really good game. There's a couple good support sites for it, as in like what to do, but nothing really I've really come across that's been like a full kind of playthrough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually only record the parts that are uh, relevant to the storyline. For example, where to go, what to do. I'm gonna try and cut out as much grinding as possible because it really does take a very, 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 very long time to get through any grinding of any sort. Um, the pros to this game is you don't have to worry about things like, uh, you know, types and things like that. There's only a few exceptions. Besides that, the pros of this game is, yes, it's very simple and there's not a lot of animations, so you kind of can go through things rather quickly. But it takes a very long time. It's kind of grindy to go through all of it in that sense. It's an RPG, obviously, of some sort. So I'll go into it as we start doing this cutscene. So you start off as a boy named Cobi, but we're obviously going to change that. um, and I'll be going over some controls, a lot of things really quickly. Pretty much when you play through this game, the text is really, really quick. That's the great thing, unlike Pokemon. Text is amazingly fast in this game. So don't expect me to read all of it because it is very, 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 very fast. And I really recommend that you, if you're playing it for the first time, read through it yourself for the first time. But essentially, this is your sister, Tara. There you are, big brother. You better go right away. So now you finally get control of your character here. And instead of Pokemon, you get monsters, all from the Dragon Warrior series up to this point. Now, of course, there are a lot of them. Um, but there are also some ones that they added in this game, which are really nice. There's a lot of variety, and that's the biggest plus to this game. There's a ton of variety and a ton, absolute ton of content. I have never 100%ed this game, and I tell you right now, if I added up all of my playthroughs together, I still have not 100%ed this game. Um, it's just that variety. There's just that much variety, and there's a lot of customization, and there's a lot of RNG, unfortunately. So obviously, like a speedrun of this game probably isn't too plausible. Um, now there are a few things in the beginning that are really scripted, like things you get, items you can grab, etc. Now there's a game's really cutscene heavy right in the beginning, but after that, it's not too cutscene heavy, which is really nice. So we finally get control of our character again. Now, if you were playing the sister game, Tara's Adventure, you would be controlling the girl Tara, the green girl. But however, in this game, we're playing as Blue Cobi. Come in, we talk to her mother. You've come at the right time. Grandma sent her homemade nut pie for us to enjoy at her new homestead. Too busy to get it right now, so two of you can go instead. Oh, be careful. Okay, so when you do this in the beginning of the game, you can literally press A on just about everything. There's always a description for something, and there's sometimes the bookcases give you helpful advice. Most of the time they don't, but you know there are things here. So you can press A on everything. A is to talk, A is to examine everything, A is to open up your menu once you get it. You can talk to some of the monsters on your farm. You can talk to your dad. Anyways, moving along. Hey, so these are the... So, in this entry cutscene, you're going to be introduced to your Gary Oak, or your rival, and he's Prince Kamea. And his pal Warabu. Unfortunately, you never fight Warabu, or you never do anything with Warabu too much. But it's an interesting little game. You find out that everybody really doesn't like them too much. Just kind of a thing. You find out, you know, in this cutscene here, they're obviously gonna steal this guy's stuff. And then they're gonna throw it around, do stuff with it. So, in this game, I know a lot about this game. I've played this game so many times. Basically, what you need to do is... I'm going to pretty much try and go through this as quickly as possible. But here you go. You need to talk to these guys here first. And then you need to go up to your right hand. Otherwise, one of the dialogue boxes will actually not appear. So now they're all of a sudden in front of you. And Warabu will now say, smell something tasty, and it's the pie that your grandmother sent you while you were working here for the king, but hey, you're kind of a jerk. Warabu's kind of a jerk, so he's eating it, or trying to steal it from you to go eat. It falls down the well. You climb down this vine, and this is really nice artwork. The music here for these guys, you're not going to hear it too often, so really enjoy it. It is really one of the better tunes of this game. So I'll be quiet for just a minute. Alright, so obviously going through that cutscene there, you went through and you broke the navel. And so, Warabu jumps into the hole where the navel is. You go in, take your grandma's pie back. So Warabu tells you right now that you need to go and grab a monster maester because the island is going to sink, because if the palm tree that the island is on, it's going to die, and that was the life force leaving the hole, and that's what was keeping the life force inside the tree. So you go around, you have to talk to everybody. You actually have to talk to every single NPC on the island. If you don't, it doesn't count. You won't be able to progress. So just doing this. So because of all of Warabu's and and Prince Kameha's tricks, nobody really wants to actually listen to you, and it is unfortunate. You have to absolutely talk to everybody, and this is how you actually lose this guy. Here in the beginning, in both games, you lose the ability to do these things, and now you kind of lose things like things around town. You kind of get blamed. People you get a bad reputation because no one's obviously going to believe you because you're associating yourself now with the Warabu and Prince Kamea. Just didn't remember out of my head. Obviously, the little big circle here, so you can do it either way you want to. Talk to your dad. So I'm just doing this as fast as I can, and the best way to do that is to just have the last person you talk to be your mother, so that you can just walk back. And so you leave, and then you gotta go back to Warabu and tell him that no one believes you, not even your parents. Um, and they really should. Everyone really should, technically. But hey, otherwise we wouldn't have a game, right? Come back. And he's now telling you about magic keys. The magic keys are kind of like your little hub world thing. From your hub world, you can go to all these other little planets, and you get the first main one of the game right here. It's the Oasis key. So, what you're supposed to do now is come here, and he's going to give you the Great Log key to come back here. You're going to need the Great Log key no matter what you do. And he tells you that if Great Log sings, he also dies. So, that's what happens. And now they're trying to decide who will go there and who will stay. And all you have to do is really just mash A through all this text. And you get your first partner here, Slash, which is the slime, the staple of all the Dragon Warrior series. Kind of like your Pikachu, if you want to say. And so, here's your sister, Terra. Now you can finally talk to her. And she's going to watch after all the monsters you catch in other worlds and send them back to you. Going out to play, be careful you don't get hurt, and you're going to receive a herb. That's your first healing item. So make sure you talk to your mom real quick. Make sure you talk to your dad here. When you inherit this from the key to being friendly with monsters, break them and feed them meat, it will make them less wary. So you get a pork chop, that's your first item. So, talking about mechanics-wise, this is a pretty good first intro. I understand this is 10 minutes of cutscene, so it's not very exciting. But it's just pretty much the beginning of the game, and after this is not too... It's not too open. So obviously the merchants are now closed off to you. Don't be surprised. But you come around here, you can now walk around freely. You don't really see Prince Kamea or anybody else. The island's just kind of how it is. And so this is Warabu here. He's going to ask you what the promise is you made. The promise is that you're going to go out and find a plug. You come down here, this is your gate to go to all your other worlds and all your other levels. And next time, I will go into the first world, and we're going to go talk over some scripted events that's going to happen. And we're also going to talk about, I'm also going to go over what we're going to do in the first world, because the first world is actually very, very linear. First and the second world is actually kind of linear, and then after there, it gets really, really diverse. First world's kind of your tutorial level, so there's not too much to worry about. Like I said before, A opens up pretty much everything on your game here. So yes, I'm going to save over here real quick. It doesn't matter. I have so many different things here. We're going to change the text speed here to really, really fast. If you haven't noticed, my text speed was on technically a slow. And then we're going to go over some key things that are more important, like, you know, how to do things, what to do. Alright? So next time on Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, Cobi's Journey, I will go over the basics of battling and pretty much the tutorial first part of the level. Alright? Talk to you then.